Teri and Jennie bought a $260,000 motorhome that turned out to be defective, and now they're stuck in a nightmare.
I want this to be over.
Hi, I'm Liz. I help people trapped in an RV nightmare. This channel is dedicated to waking up the RV industry so they'll take care of their customers. I've been able to get 12 buybacks, numerous cash settlements, and factory repairs. This is all thanks to you for liking, subscribing, and sharing, making this channel the force that it is. Today, Teri and Jennie share their story about their $260,000 defective motorhome. And I'll have Tiffin, the manufacturer's response, and the dealers later in the video.
We've owned both a 30 and a 38-foot fifth wheel. My dream had always been a Super C. A Tiffin was really my dream because I always thought that that would be a nice way to travel. It's a 2025 Tiffin Super C.
And it was purchased at La Mesa in Sanford, Florida.
So we're all ready. We're going to pick it up. We are excited. We're walking out there. And within probably the first 30 seconds, I realized that the guy that's training me doesn't know. He doesn't really even know the Tiffin. And that the things that we were supposed to get done weren't done. So then we leave for a week and then we come back again. And we have another guy that does a training. He's much more knowledgeable. Even though we took it that day, still some of those issues were not completed. The shade in the master bedroom, one would go down, the other one wouldn't go down. And you can see at one point we actually had to stick a pin in there to just save it. The macerating toilet never worked. And then the television, when they showed me where the DVD was, it's underneath right before we actually had it. I lifted it and the TV fell on us. We decided to take it on a really short camping trip, real close to home, about 15 miles, for about 5 days over Thanksgiving. When I tried to put down the levelers, they shot an air code. Ended up after that weekend with about 5 of the ones that were still happening and about 20 new issues. Took it in on December 16th, picked it up on December 31st because we were taking our first real trip, which is going to be up to Panama City. Get to Panama City at about 4:30 in the afternoon. The levelers won't go down. The slides won't go out. We called the dealer where we had purchased it. They noticed a low voltage code. They tried to set us up with the Tiffin customer service, who shared the name of a gentleman who they said, we think he might be retired, but try this number anyway. So we tried that. And of course, the man was retired. We spent 5 days in our RV on our very first trip with the slides in and no levelers down. The service manager from La Mesa actually called me and said, as soon as you get back, Teri, we'll get it in and we're going to get it fixed. That was January 9th. We have not had our RV since then. The interesting thing is, I have been the one during this journey that has continued to email them, to follow up with them. I've never had one phone call from them with an update. It had gone in on January 9th. On the 20th, they still had not looked at it. During the 29th to the 31st, they changed the hydraulic system, the pump, the controller for the leveler, also the inline fuse. Remember, I dropped it off on January 9th. Now it's March 31st. They go to pick it up. Levelers go down. The slides go up. They go to pull it back in. And it goes right into the ceiling by the refrigerator. I just looked at them and I kind of shook my head and I said, I don't think we're fixed yet. The email I got later that afternoon was that the tolerance was too tight and that's what caused it to go into the ceiling. May comes about, May 20th, they said, it's ready. They're not sure why the pump went bad, why the hydraulics, they're not sure about all these things. So I go back to pick it up. It shoots another code, but he says, oh, well, it's just going to do that the first time. Slides go out. I do a walk around. We're standing out there and he had the slides out. So I said, I guess it seems like it's fixed. And he went to pull them in and it slid in now by the bed and the bedroom and went into the ceiling. I felt like it had been there since January. And here we are in May. It wasn't fixed. Now that I've had the slides go in twice and go into the ceiling, is there frame damage there? I don't know. This is a $264,000 RV. And I would think that it would work. We walk back to the office, the service manager's office. I can't do this anymore. I can't trust that it's going to be fixed. I can't trust that I can even take us on the road. You have continually told me, not just that issue, but the litany of issues that we've had during this thing. I said, I just want my money back. I want out. I want my money back. We've been paying a payment ever since December 1st. We've been paying for storage. $2,000.
$2,000 a month.
He continued to say, well, you know, my job is to fix it. And I said, I have no faith. I want out. I want this to be over. So they send me to their attorney in La Mesa, Arizona.
I've purchased 2 RVs brand new, and both times I had to replace the mattress. In fact, the first time I cratered that mattress in 3.5 weeks. So if you're shopping for a new RV, you're likely going to need to replace that mattress too. And of course, if you're shopping for used, you'll definitely want a new mattress. I've been sleeping on an RV mattress by Brooklyn Bedding for nearly 3 years now, and I love it. In fact, since I've been sleeping on the Aurora Luxe, I now wake up pain-free. They have a wide variety of mattresses, and they come in RV sizes like king short and queen short. There's a 120-night sleep trial and free shipping right to your door. The mattresses can be kind of heavy, so you might need some help getting it in the door, but it's fun to watch it puff up. If you're interested in an RV mattress by Brooklyn Bedding, don't pay full price. I can get you 30% off your entire order. Just go to rvmattress.com/LizAmazing, put in the coupon code LizAmazing, and you'll save 30%.
So they send me to their attorney in La Mesa, Arizona. She calls me back. She listened to me for 15, 20 minutes and says, I have to talk to Tim. So they go back and forth. And finally, I sent an email and said, you are putting me in a situation. I need to understand by June 2nd, what are you going to do? If you're not, I need to go an arbitration route, a social media route, an attorney route. We can no longer have faith or confidence in La Mesa and in Tiffin. I have none. She responds, Tim says he has it fixed. She goes, what you have to do is bleed the lines. So for those that know Super C, when you push the leveler buttons, it's an automatic. It should let the air out, put the air in, and it should level the whole coach so that you can move the slides out. And so now all of a sudden, for you to continue, Teri, every time you need to go up to the dash, and you're going to have to dump the air, bleed the lines, and then you can work it. And I said, you have just given me a workaround. And they're like, no, that's what you have to do. She goes, and we'll be happy to give you an inconvenience package for the trouble that you've gone through. She sends me a letter that stated that they would give me an inconvenience package of about $8,000, less than $10,000. They were going to pay the payment from January to June for an inconvenience, and that I needed to sign that piece of paper by June 9th to get that money and to agree that I would at no point make them liable, put anything on social media, or have any further action against La Mesa. As you can see, I chose not to sign that paper. This unit is considered a used unit because it had 3,000 miles on it. When I asked La Mesa about that, they sent me the Carfax details, which I'm not really sure if that shows anything other than whether or not it was in an accident. When I further researched, I've noticed that the individual only owned it from June to August and got rid of it. I have asked through the warranty department if there were warranty issues about this. Were there any of these issues that I'm talking about? And they had said, everything is fine and you can go through it. And that's what initially began us to go through and me to give the initial list when I did the walkthrough the very first time before we bought it. And that's when they were going to fix it. And everything was going to be fixed by the time we came back to sign the papers. But why would an individual own a Super C
90 days?
for 90 to, not even 90 days?
That should have been our first clue. We're so excited to go to Panama City and to spend 5 days with the slides not going out. I mean, it was just, when we were with friends, it was just horrendous. It was such a disappointment, especially for Teri, because she was so excited about sharing this with me. I mean, she was in tears. You know, she's like, I wanted this to be so special for you, our first trip. And it was a disaster. And then it's taken 5 or 6 months and they can't even figure out what the problems are.
I think what I've learned and what I would be smarter about is getting it inspected. I would be doing the research and finding my own independent inspector. not all salespeople even camp and have the depth of knowledge needed to really articulate to people all of the things that how that rig works, or even if that rig is the right rig for you. When we got there, I was ready to take it home. I had already started buying things in the garage to start putting in it, every gadget toy I could want. And then when we get there, to walk through and to see that the 5 to 10 things that I had asked for had not been done. If I went back, I would have said, wait, I was too absorbed in my excitement. We are pursuing whatever we need to do because the faith that we have in La Mesa and Tiffin, it's gone.
We purchased this rig to add joy into our lives. And unfortunately, it has done nothing but add tremendous stress for both of us. We wanted this, you know, it was a mistake. The service by La Mesa has been deplorable. This is a faulty rig. This is $250,000, close to $300,000 rig. We want La Mesa to own this and to do the right thing. This is a La Mesa Tiffin issue. This is not our issue. We don't feel safe. We don't feel comfortable with the rig. We want La Mesa to buy it back, or Tiffin. We don't want the rig. We just want out. We need this to go away.
I reached out to La Mesa, the dealership. I reached out to the head of Florida operations, and I reached out to the owner of La Mesa, and I heard nothing. I also reached out to the top people at Tiffin, and I heard back from Lee Tiffin. He's the president. He said, thank you for alerting him to this. But so far, Teri and Jennie have heard nothing. So this is where you come in, because often it takes the power of social media before the company takes action and does the right thing. So thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and sharing, for working your magic to get the help that's needed for Teri and Jennie. What do you think Tiffin should do for them? Let me know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.